Just management interaction with Praj Industries, and then we'll get back to this conversation as well. In fact, would want your view on this one too. They've reported their numbers, a 10% rise in revenue for the June quarter, but the operational picture has looked even better. Net profit numbers have jumped about 2.5 times. Let's get into Managing Director Shishir Joshipura, who joins us right now on the phone line. Mr. Joshipura, good having you. Thanks much for joining in. Some of the quarter for us, the operational performance seems very, very heady. But what about the top line growth? How has the quarter been? What is your outlook for what the next 2 or 3 quarters hold in store?
Good afternoon. Thank you for your kind comments. The first quarter traditionally in our business tends to be on the softer side. So no surprises there. I think the fact is that for the last 4 quarters or so, the country has seen a fairly conducive policy environment for the bioenergy business space, which is our core business. So obviously that has really helped us to build the performance that we have delivered. Having said that, I think the first quarter itself saw very different dynamics at play, obviously because of the elections that were being held. So that led to very different market dynamics. So we actually saw a change in pace in that on the negative side for the market finalizations, very, very different pace compared to what was already getting built up. But on the good news front, we see that coming back now that there's certainty in government. The same government has come back, so there's continuation of policy. We expect that as we progress through the year, we will only get better from here. So that's broadly the overview.
Okay. The commentary that is coming in, not all of it would have become law, but the commentary that is coming in seems to suggest that the government and the minister is extremely focused on ethanol as a biofuel. I mean, one comment that came in suggested that maybe ask the sugar companies to not make sugar but make ethanol. So the focus of the government seems to be there. Would that ensure that, if anything, the order inflow should not be a concern for a company like Praj?
Well, yes, the policy is moving very, very, very supportive, and the fact is that this does create an alternative route for farmers to continue to get their income, for government to combat pollution. There are many dimensions to this, which government is clearly seeing the interlinkages, and that is how the big push and support is coming, and direction as well from their end. And we expect that if that happens, obviously it has to translate into somebody setting up capacities. And I was mentioning earlier that there is about 6.2% blending that has happened now in the country, which means something like 200 crore liters of ethanol being blended. If we have to reach the 10% target, which is the interim target government has set, we are looking at almost equal capacity being added, in terms of crores of liters. So yes, there is a positive environment, and this now needs to translate into what I would call as the commercial reality as well.
Okay. By the way, jubilant numbers are out on the screen. Net profit is very flat, so keep that at the back of your mind, down about 3%. Mr. Joshipura, what's your prediction about what you would do on the operational and the bottom line front going ahead? Quarter one showed a meaningful spike, both in EBITDA margins, moving from 2.2 to 3%, as well as the bottom line numbers jumping up 2.5x. What's the guidance for the rest of the year?
No, we would not issue a guidance in terms of what the numbers would look like, except to say that we believe that the market forces have been positively moving over the past 4 quarters, except the exception of the last quarter, which was slightly on a different tone given the electoral environment. But it's sort of come back, and so we expect that this journey will continue.
Last question. You had qualified for 4 out of the 6 projects so far planned by the oil marketing companies. When does that result in substantial order flows for you or business opportunity for you?
Yes, great question. So of the 4 contracts, one has moved to a stage where we have received substantial portion of our order from them. We have not executed them yet. They're under execution. On the licensing and engineering front, we have executed the 4 jobs. But on the equipment supply side, we have received the part contract for one of them. The other 3 are still in the process. And we expect that as the year progresses, we'll probably see the order book happen. But the execution will probably be over the next 18 months or so.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Mr. Joshipura, thanks so much for taking the time out and being with us today and giving us your perspective. All the best for the quarters ahead.
Thank you. Thank you.